Well, it might be time to invest in some extra thermal singlets after a third major East Coast energy retailer, Origin Energy, announced a double-digit price increase in South Australia and New South Wales from next month. Prices in these states are expected to rise by around 15%, which means a rise of $425 for an average annual residential gas and power bill in South Australia. Rosemary Sinclair is the Chief Executive Officer of Energy Consumers Australia, an independent organisation giving energy consumers a voice in the national energy market, and she joins me now. Rosemary, many thanks for your time. Origin Energy, as we just heard, is the third retailer to announce double-digit price hikes. How are the retail suppliers justifying these hikes?
The price increases this time around are due to wholesale energy prices, and they are linked to increases in gas prices. So we've been hearing a lot about gas prices in regard to commercial and industrial customers. Unhappily, those gas price increases are now starting to flow through to impacts on households and indeed small businesses.
If we look at the wholesale side of things, the energy suppliers are saying that there hasn't been enough investment in new baseload generation capacity. Who is to blame for that?
Well, that is a very complex issue, and it's a subject of the Finkel report, which of course has had much discussion this week. And what we're seeing is very strong price increases. These announcements are part of that. And the issue there is that we need to bring more supply into the market. To do that, we need to provide policy certainty for investors, and that's been missing for a very long time. So the work that Dr. Finkel is doing, that's now being carefully discussed, is going to be an answer in the medium to longer term because it addresses the supply side of the problem.
If we look at that medium to longer term in the Finkel review in just a moment, what are the solutions in the short term?
In the short term, these price increases are going to be very difficult for households, particularly for low-income and vulnerable households. The retailers have put in place some additional measures in regard to hardship programs and access to those programs, but we think that there's more to be done, and we'd like to see ministers getting together with retailers to just see what else can be done to assist consumers to deal with the short-term impacts that these 15% price rises are going to mean.
Because 15% doesn't sound that like an extraordinary amount, but we are being told by these suppliers that it will be $450 a year up, $600 a year up, which is a huge impost on a family on a minimum wage.
Absolutely, and if you think about the minimum wage decision, that was about $1,000, and now $600 of it might be gone in this price rise for electricity services. It's also the case that vulnerable households spend a significant proportion of their income on heating and energy costs. So for those households, it might not sound like a lot of money, $10 a week, but those households are counting every dollar that they have, and they were not expecting these price rises. So it's going to be very difficult for them.
Looking ahead to the medium to longer term and the Finkel review, how critical is it that the recommendations of the Finkel review are taken up?
In our view, it's very critical. The Finkel review is about medium to long-term supply-side initiatives. The balancing point for us, though, importantly, is the ACCC review, which is a review that is looking into the retail market, how prices are moving, what the structure of the market is, how consumers are being impacted in that market. So those two reviews go hand in hand for us. The recommendations that Dr. Finkel have made are based on economics and engineering. We think they're very carefully calibrated. We'd like them to be considered, and the package looks to us as a reasonable package that should be implemented.
Well, time will tell. Rosemary Sinclair, many thanks for your time today.
Thanks, Catherine.